Welcome to Bledsoe Said So, guys. This episode is brought to you by Contact Modalities. It is a conference that we're going to be headlining in Delavan, Wisconsin, May 2nd through the 4th, right, Alex? It's just a few weeks from the day of recording this, and I have to say the excitement has been building for this event. The skywatch was sold out, and we worked up something extra special to do a giveaway for some free tickets and even increase the slots for the skywatch. The venue itself, or rather the conference, is running an organized skywatch Friday night, and my dad and I are just going to be there participating, hanging out, and trying to stoke some vibes. Friday is going to be awesome. Saturday is going to be presenters all day. I got a list of topics here because I feel like I wanted to elaborate on some of the things that'll be present as we're getting closer to the event. There's going to be meditation and breath work, UFO experiences hosted by yours truly, remote viewing, channeling, connection to spirit, lucid dreaming and astral projection, shamanic journeying, sound and frequency practices, hypnosis and quantum hypnosis, automatic writing and telepathy. That's interesting. Energy healing, sacred geometry and crop circles, plant medicine and psychedelic experiences. Whoa. Conscious technology. I'm very interested in these things, man. Conscious technology and biohacking. Near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, synchronized group contact, and hundreds more. Seriously, though, guys, I am very excited to go to this event. And by the way, on Sunday, there's also going to be a live fireside-style chat with my dad and Jimmy Church. And otherwise, there's just going to be like dozens of presenters with multiple conference rooms holding like group sessions and all kinds of different contact modalities, right? So check it out at contactmodalitiesxpo.com.
And a bunch of people that have been on our show are going to be there, right?
I know that Hakeem will be there. Megan will be there, Solar Glow. And there's going to be some people who, a lot of our listeners will be there. I'm getting a lot of messages about that. So yeah, it'll be sweet.
Right on.
Awesome.
Heyo.
Hey.
And you'll also be there for Star Wars Day, which is pretty cool.
May the 4th. Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. Are you like posing something to us? It was just, you don't usually greet us like that.
I just felt inspired.
It's been a while since we've recorded like this.
Yeah,
right?
I know. It's
been a month or two.
I almost don't know how to do it.
Have to turn the green voice switch off.
Yeah.
Well, we've had so many guests too. It's like,
right.
Whoa.
Speaking of which, Green Boys is our silly, goofy show on Patreon. So patreon.com/Bledsoe Said So. You get that and a bunch of other cool stuff.
Heck yeah. So let's just dive right into it, man.
How are you guys feeling?
Very tired.
Very tired.
I want to start it in one very specific way.
Okay.
I want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to Corey and Daniel.
Huge shout out to our Discord mods.
I'll clap for them. That's Corey.
Specifically Corey and Daniel. You go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I just wanted to say because they were the major game changer in this event and compared to our last two Wilmington events. And I just thinking about all of the highlights for me would not have been possible if they were not there helping us. So
for sure,
that's the facts.
For sure, facts on facts.
If you didn't read the title, we're talking about Azalea Festival,
2025.
2025. We just did it.
Yeah.
But yes, Corey and Daniel were like a massive help. Huge help. Can't thank them enough.
They are two of our Discord mods, and we got to talking it over. And we were just like, I bet if we threw them a bone and asked really, really nicely, that they'd be willing to come and like help us professionally with the event. And it was just like, I think all around it was a great energy. They were excited to be a part. We were excited for them to be a part, to help us. And it was just really, it was amazing.
It was truly awesome. It was awesome having them help. And like, I think they were two of the like best people that could have done it, because a lot of people were coming up and being like, oh my god, Corey, like, or Skippy, I saw multiple people like, oh my god, you're Skippy, and it was like kind of mind-blowing for them, and then mind-blowing for Daniel and Corey, like, it was just all around really awesome. And then it was also a huge help, to us and to Chris Senior. Like it was great.
Did you meet Skippy's biggest fan?
Who?
He has a legit fan.
Who?
I may have. Not off of that information.
Do you remember Emmy?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was her brother.
Oh,
they were together.
okay.
I didn't ask, like, are you guys all siblings? You know what I'm saying? But I think it was her brother. Maybe it was her cousin. But it was that group of kids that was with Jenny. You probably would remember Jenny. She was at, I think it was Riverfest last time. But
yeah, you talking about who brought the name tags?
No, that's
that's
Jennifer.
Heather.
Oh.
I'm talking about Jenny Ree.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Emmy's mom.
But,
yeah,
of course.
There was another little boy with them that he was just the cutest guy, man. He kept being
cool.
like, is that Captain Skippy?
Yeah.
And he would be like, when I have a hat on, I kind of look like Captain Skippy because he had long hair like Daniel.
Yeah.
And like we're doing the skywatch Sunday night, and I walked over to them to say hello, and he was like, is Daniel here? And I was like, yeah, of course he is. So I walked over to Daniel, and I whispered in his ear, I was like, bro, you want to be a rock star? Walk over to that blanket right there and say hi. Your biggest fan is over there waiting. And he was like, what? And Daniel walked over there, and they like dapped it up. It was just so wholesome. That's the point. Like, I don't even think Daniel, we were talking about it. Like, I don't even think that he realized, the love that would be coming towards him. Like you said, like, oh my God, you're Captain Skippy. It was kind of funny.
So people were asking him to sign the book. And he was like, dude, somebody asked me to sign their book. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it was amazing, man. There were so many of those little moments that were wholesome and endearing.
Oh my God. And Emmy, it was her birthday.
Oh yeah.
It was her birthday on Saturday, and like we got to spend time with them. And remember, she at Riverfest, she FaceTimed us.
Right.
And no. That was at the first Azalea Festival, I think, maybe. She FaceTimed us. Yeah, it was, because it was her birthday then too, I think. So it was Azalea Festival. She FaceTimed us. We were talking about like Steven Universe and stuff, and now she was here. She was like so ecstatic. She was like, it's the best birthday of my whole life. It's like, oh my God, it's so sweet.
She was a funny little kid, man. When I brought Daniel over to their blanket on the Sunday night Skywatch, I was just trying to connect them to have that wholesome little moment, because it's like, people always say don't meet your heroes. So for us and what we do, I mean, you guys know this, it's like, let's go out of our way to be like incredibly nice to people and make sure that, we all have a positive and friendly experience. And I brought Daniel over there. I was like, dude, talk to the, you need to talk to him. He's really like a big fan of yours. And Daniel was so wholesome about it. And I was like, look, it's Captain Skippy. And then they were like, yay, Captain Skippy's amazing. And then Emmy said something like, yeah, but we all need Ryan too, or something like that. Like, we all need some of that in our lives. And it's just funny, like the kids, the children that listen to our show, like, oh wow, I'm Nick's biggest fan. It's kind of like wholesome.
It's so sweet. I saw them on Sunday when we were leaving. They were going to that museum of the
auditorium.
Bizarre.
The auditorium, my
Mm-hmm.
ODD.
Yeah, they were going there, and I was leaving. And I was pulling up as they were about to walk in, and I yelled out the window. I was like, y'all have fun. And those little kids just got like so excited.
Yeah.
It was so cute. So many wholesome moments. And that always happens when we do these in-person things. It's really humbling.
Yeah.
It
is. And endearing.
Yes. It makes me like emotional. It's very endearing and humbling. And yeah, it fills me with so much gratitude. It's awesome. It's like simultaneously these things are so draining and stressful and hard to do, but then they're also like the most incredible things that we get to do.
Yeah.
And I would do it over and over and over and over again and get sunburned and like stand, for however long and meet a bunch of people, because like it's just awesome.
Yeah. I agree.
It's really awesome.
I got extremely sunburnt this time.
You
look at photos of Azalea Fest last year, and we're all in jackets and like puff coats and stuff. And then the day that Azalea Fest started is like the hottest day of the year here, and it's like, oh crap. And
it was brutal.
Just standing on that black asphalt in the sun. I didn't even wear sunscreen like the first day and a half. I was so cooked,
dude,
that like bro, by the time Sunday night came and we had the skywatch, I know you guys couldn't make it, but like I literally just sat on a blanket to the side and was just like so quiet and so chill. It was like, oh, cool, yeah, it's happening.
Which is
awesome.
That's usually what we do. We usually just stay on the outskirts. We lay down. We just like watch it all, and it's awesome.
Not me, man.
I know y'all are up in the shit.
Dude, I get
y'all like
up,
to be up
in it,
yeah.
and I'm either hanging out with your dad, or if I'm not doing that, I like to like roam around, and then I'll like walk up to people and just start talking to them, and then they're like, wait, you're Alex. And I'm like, yeah. No,
that's why I feel comfortable being on the outskirts, because I'm like, Alex has got it. He's doing all the extroverted stuff. I'll just be over here.
I've usually got to be all up in it, like Saturday night, you know, wrangling. Like there's a crowd of, by the way, pretty much 350 people Saturday night.
Jeez. 350?
Yeah.
Bro, the lot was packed before we got there.
It was slammed. This time we actually had to park down at Access 3.
When we rolled up, because I rode in the back of Alex's truck.
Should I have said that?
It's all right.
I might.
It's in the past,
But okay, yeah,
it's fine. We're not there.
That's true.
Yeah, but anyway, so we rolled up to the joint in the back of Alex's truck, and we started to like down the road, like quarter mile, half mile. We started to see people from the festival getting out of their car, and I was just like, oh crap, it's gonna be full.
Yeah.
So Dad had somebody count. He stopped counting at 330, and more people kept coming over the next few hours. So it was easily 350.
Wow. That's insane growth over the last one. Yeah, I was a little sad because I didn't get to make it on Friday. I had to work. And then Sunday, we were just being babies. We were being, we were like, oh my God, my back is screaming. I'm sunburned. I just want to lay in bed. But, I mean, it was still a blast. It was still really awesome. I mean, I didn't know that much was going to be going on Friday. Fill me in on what happened on Friday. Maybe, yeah.
We got there at 1:30.
Yeah.
Started setting up.
Thought it was going to be pretty chill.
Yeah, and
it
very
was looking
shortly
like it.
After getting there, people were walking up, which is funny because it's like public information that the festival doesn't start till 6.
Right. Yeah.
I
didn't even know that they were. I thought it was just going to be like 8 o'clock to whenever it, like 10 or something, and then they close it.
It was 6 to 10.
6 to 10.
Friday night. We showed up at like 1:30, had to go get our permit, find our spot, start unloading all of our equipment, and I started noticing people standing like kind of watching us unload, and they weren't saying anything to us.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me go talk to this guy. It's like, are you here for this crazy crowd? He's like, yeah, man, I came from, I don't remember. I think he was from Wilmington, and people just started rolling up, and then faces we recognize start rolling up. We shoot down and walk down the street to go to the bathroom, and we bump into people, and next thing we know, by like 3 o'clock, I think we were selling books.
Yeah, full blown line at 3 o'clock. People coming up. A lot of familiar faces on Friday, and it just started, man. And for the first 2 hours, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a chill Friday. Like, cool.
I thought so too. I
was really stoked for like a chill Friday, ramp up into Saturday, but
got
crazy, and we stayed out there way too long. And dude, there was a line basically down the block. Yeah. So we got shifted over to the very end, which is we love it because it provides us more space and we don't feel as guilty for blocking the other people. But dude, I mean, across the street, down the sidewalk, and then it like took a curve. It was a lot of people. And so we were like, it was 8:30 on Friday, and we're like, man, we got to get Chris inside.
We were supposed to leave at like 8 on Friday or 8:30. Yeah, we left like 40 minutes over, and when we were trying to leave because the line was going all the way like down the street.
And there was easy 20, 25 people in line when we were like, we got to get out of here. And so Jenny started at the front of the line, and I started at the back of the line, and I just asked everybody if they were going to be here tomorrow. Because I didn't want them to feel like they weren't seen, or we knew they were there and what they were there for. But it's like, hey man, like we have to close up, and talk to every single person in line on Friday to make sure they were coming back, so we didn't feel as bad. And then I still think that he talked to everyone.
Friday night, I'm not sure because we kind of had a hard close. And
Yeah.
there was like that long line going down the street, and I was just like, oh, man. And the craziest part is that the location was different than the Riverfest location. So at a quick glance, it looked like a much smaller crowd, but it was actually much bigger.
Yeah. I was thinking that at first on Saturday. I was like, oh, okay, the crowd doesn't really seem like it was as big. But then as the day went on, and then when we got out there on the beach, I was like, oh, no, yeah, this is a little bit more.
Now, naturally, everybody rolls up, and I got asked 300 times, are you guys going out skywatching? Are you guys going out skywatching?
You guys didn't skywatch Friday, did you?
No.
I mean, like not with like a big group.
No, we didn't at all. And that was by design. And we wanted to preserve Dad's energy, have a private little family, we just hang out and relax because it's going to be a long weekend. And everybody's like, are you guys skywatching tonight? And we're like, no, but there's going to be another crowd of people going out. Talk to that guy, Paul Sr., Paul Jr. And, he showed up, obviously looking fly. Both of them.
They were dripping the whole weekend. They
I
always
know.
do.
I'm a little upset, though, because they showed me a picture that they had the special edition SpongeBob Crocs, and they said they were going to wear them. And then when they got here, he said they were locked up in a vault, and the world wasn't ready to see them. So I'm a little bummed I didn't get to see the SpongeBob Crocs.
Damn, that's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Nah, Paul Jr. had both days, dude. He had the alignment shirt. The first day, Saturday, he had the Buzz Lightyear color scheme.
Yeah.
With the alignment shirt. And then his shoes had that purple and green, and his hat had that same purple and green.
I didn't even notice.
Like, how do you do that? And then if that wasn't enough, the next day shows up with the Matrix color scheme alignment shirt with a freaking these matching shoes and hat. I think it was like a Nike Star Wars collab. And it was black with that exact green on the alignment shirt.
Oh my God.
Like, you madman.
The drip is unbelievable.
The drip is unbelievable. Paul Jr., stop it.
No,
but also don't stop.
Keep inspiring.
Yeah, keep inspiring.
Yeah, I didn't.
Dude, bro, I thought about that shit the next day. No, I thought about that shit Monday. I was driving. I was like, how did that motherfucker find those shoes and that hat that match like that? And then just know that he...
And bounce it off our merch.
Bruh. It's inspiring.
So I wanted to special mention them. All jokes aside, I wanted to bring them up because they truly are amazing people.
Oh yeah,
and
Emma too. Love you, Emma.
Yeah,
Y'all are all the best.
and their whole family is great.
Yeah,
and they came, and I had a sense that with them being here, it would be a huge help. Not only because people know their story and have a sense of like established trust with them and know that they're credible and believe in them, but also like, okay, you guys got the skywatch tonight. We're tired. We need to rest.
Yeah.
So what happened was a good crowd of maybe 40 people went out Friday night. People were asking me questions, and they're like, are you guys going to go skywatching tonight? And I was just like, nah, we're going to save our energy, but go talk to that guy over there, talking about Paul Sr.
Yeah.
I just knew. I was like, you know what? He's got it. Like, this is going to be great. And on Friday, that crowd of 40 people went out on a cloudy night, and the report that I got from a few people was that they saw anywhere from 50 to 100 orbs.
Wow. On a cloudy night.
What?
That's fantastic.
But like the thing is, like, we weren't even there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did it independently on their own.
And that's powerful to me. I keep explaining this to my dad. Like, we're having these talks about this, and he knew there was, 50 to 100 people seeing the orbs that night. I was like, Dad, how amazing that we've been telling our story for almost 20 years. We've skywatched with thousands of people and have helped people like understand what's happening to them, understand what it is, how to establish the connection, and not be afraid of it, and to, nurture that connection. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, now there's people out there that are organizing their own independent skywatches and seeing dozens and dozens of light phenomena. That's pretty incredible. That's awesome. Like that a thing that a few people told me this weekend was that they had the sense that this was a real movement that was like growing. You know what I mean? To where now it's like people are always like, I want to skywatch with Chris. I want to skywatch with Chris. Well, you go skywatch.
Yeah.
Skywatch with Paul. Skywatch with Nick. It doesn't matter who's there.
Yeah.
It's about you.
Mm-hmm. And having that individual experience is really powerful. It's funny that you say that about like the growing thing. Like that was the one when we were leaving on Sunday. I told Casey, like, she was like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Amazing as always. I love doing these things." And I was like, I feel like the one big takeaway that from this time is that this thing is like really growing. Like it's. And that doesn't mean like, wow, the numbers are exploding.
Right.
Not necessarily.
It's
no.
the presence of it.
The energy of it.
Yeah, the impact of it.
Yeah, is growing. And
I don't even think in terms of like views or numbers anymore.
Not at
I don't
all.
think that's a real metric.
it's just, it was so cool to me to, like, and we're obviously not talking about this stuff in order, but it doesn't need to be in order. Like, just to show up and meet new people who are just as awesome as all of the other people that we've met at the last two things.
Mm-hmm.
Just to know that there's still like these incredible people out there that are like finding us and then like connecting with our stuff and showing up. It's wild. The first two, we do them and it's like, this is awesome. You know, we get to meet all these new fans and these new like people that have connected with this and connect with us. And it's so cool and amazing. This time, I think maybe subconsciously I'm thinking like, all right, I'm excited to see the usuals.
Regulars.
Yeah, the usual suspects. And we did see a ton of them and it was awesome. Like, I love seeing them. Like, it's so cool that there's a dude from Denmark.
Yeah.
And he brought his friend this time.
A different friend.
Gio.
Frank and Gio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gio,
they were awesome.
We've been talking a little bit.
Gio's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
he just sent me some files and stuff for the video we're putting together. Like, yeah.
There's somebody from
stoked.
Wales this time.
yeah.
People from Thailand.
Canada.
From Hawaii. Lots from
the
Canada.
far side of Canada.
Yeah.
Big shout out Andy, Daniel, and John and Benny.
Yeah.
Bro.
And we had a famous bird show up.
Yep.
We had a famous pigeon.
Last time there was a monkey.
Yeah.
This time there was a bird. I'm
Yeah.
kind of thinking like maybe next time we'll get a bear or an eagle.
I can arrange
Right?
that.
Wouldn't that be cool?
What do you mean you can arrange that?
I'll get a bear.
Yeah, right.
You get. Where are you going to get a bear?
I mean, I got people, you know.
In your network?
Well,
you
you know
got
what?
a bear. You got a bear.
I
lady
will
in
get
your
a bear
network?
if we want. If you
Sincerely?
seriously want a bear.
Sincerely, man, get a bear.
Yeah, get
All right.
for sure. Like, yeah, I want it noted
I don't
that
know
our
if the
next
city would be happy with that.
at our next event there better be a bear there.
All right, let me put it on my calendar real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Hang on.
October, by the way. I'm like
yeah.
pretty sure, other than having booked a spot, I'm pretty sure we're gonna do Riverfest. It's just
I'm just gonna do a little October 1st. No, it's September.
No, it's October. It's the first weekend
of
of
October.
Yeah, they're 6
All right,
months apart.
Get bear. For
All right, so I want to
Fest.
talk about another important element of this. You can hammer out the
You're back
details
on.
of your fake bear.
It's already in there. I got it.
Yeah,
I'll hammer it out later.
but so it's no secret that the first massive skywatch with 200 people that we did at Riverfest was extremely stressful, right?
For sure.
Pretty sure I talked about that on the Riverfest episode, but it was so stressful because it's like, oh my God, what if people show up? 200 people are here. We had to count. I knew there was over 200 people there. I was like, what if, there's 200 people here and they don't see anything, and that's 200 people going out to the corners of the world being like, I didn't see anything. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even though if something didn't appear, that doesn't invalidate the rest of everything that we've experienced and talked about and seen and all that. It still was pressure, and it still would not have been a good feeling
Of course
if
not.
for the first time that happened and it happened to be a crowd of 200 people. So I was like, oh my God, so stressed. And then we ended up seeing like 130 orbs that night, the ones with wings, all that stuff we talked about on that episode. It was initially very stressful, right? Like extremely stressful for me. This time on Friday with Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. and of course Emma, but really, I was thinking about like Paul Sr. being there and his connection and his story and what he's been through, and everybody being like, y'all going skywatch Friday night, and he went out, and I was like, nah, you know what? They're good.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They saw 50 to 100 orbs on Friday. I woke up on Saturday, started getting the reports, whatever. People Friday night were in the Discord being like, just saw another. Oh my God, So I was kind of seeing that it was happening. And I just had the sensation like, I am not stressed this time. It's on autopilot.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
It's going to be fine.
Saturday was cloudy as hell. I showed up and I was like, you know what? I'm not stressed this time. I couldn't be less
It
stressed.
is what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It was like, whereas it was stress at Riverfest, this time it was like logical.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be what it's going to be. You know, like surely now is not going to be the time when these beings doing all of this miraculous stuff are going to be like, you know what? Not tonight.
Right. Yeah. It just wouldn't make sense.
And so sure, I was yelling, you know, trying to get 350 people's attention, raising my voice,
Point
but
them out and stuff.
it was a very happy and stress-free yelling this time, and a very like cracking some jokes in there. And you know, on the 66th orb, I was like, "Where are my Star Wars fans?" You know, just stupid stuff like that. Like, you know, but being more silly and carefree. And then by the time Sunday came around, I'm like sitting down on a blanket, like, y'all got it. I am so tired, and it was amazing. And you want to add to that?
A little bit, but I want you to finish what you were going to say.
Yeah, it was just an amazing sensation. Like the more we do this, the more it's becoming streamlined and on autopilot, and it's like it's getting bigger than what we can manage at this point.
Right.
And that way, I think you get to enjoy it a little more.
Yes.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Jumping off of that too, I think in large part it has to do with these familiar faces and these veterans of the events who kind of know the process for the street fair and for the skywatch.
Yeah.
They kind of know what to do, what to expect, and then they kind of like they make everything a little bit more normal for everybody. So like they know where to hang out at. They know where to, like, everybody was just hanging out in the shade but out of the way because they were there at Riverfest, and they know, right? And so it's cool to have those people that keep coming back that like anchor that. Like I see people hanging out with Jennifer or gosh, I'm putting myself on the spot here. Or these people that have been here, right? Marco, John.
Yeah, well, there's lots of them.
Right, there's tons of them.
Lots of hundreds.
And I see them talking with new people, and I'm like, oh, y'all are good. I'm just like going to let this thing ride and go find someone else. And then to see on the flip side of that, these people who weren't even here for this, locals, whatever, roll up to the tent and are curious enough to ask.
Yeah, we got a lot of that.
Part's cool
and
too.
then to stand in line for someone they don't even know. They haven't even read the book, and they're going to stand in line for however long it takes to get there and then talk to your dad. I mean, there was a bunch of college kids.
Bunch of locals.
A group of college dudes roll up. What is this? We start talking to them. Cool. You were like hitting it off. I left. And then I'm sitting at the skywatch and I look and I'm like, oh my God, is that the college kid I thought was just
they were there.
like messing with us?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I'm so glad you're here.
They were all science majors, I think.
Engineering majors.
Yeah,
and actually they knew exactly what we were. And the week before they had been to a
Right.
presentation by Diana Pasolka at UNCW, and
Right.
they had been asking questions about us.
Yeah.
And were aware of us. And then they were like, oh my God, they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, come to the skywatch tonight. It's
And
a
they
lot
act-
different than
they
a
act-
lecture.
Yeah, they actually came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually showed up.
We can
which
sit
is
in a lecture all day.
incredible.
Let's go.
Go
you know.
see it, for real.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
reminds me of the college kids that were on the beach for Riverfest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riverfest exploded, and they're like, I feel so bad because they were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And then here come 200 people onto the spot. They're hanging out.
Dude.
And they're like, what's going on? And I was like, look right there. And they're like, oh, wow. And then she told me on the way out, she was like, I was having such a horrible day. And I'm like, so glad this all happened. Yeah. Anyway, that was Riverfest.
It's starting to feel, I had this moment. It's starting to feel like summer camp or something.
Yeah.
There's this feeling when everybody's out there at night, bundled up, everybody's got blankets. It feels like Christmas or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
I
feels
know
like-
what you mean.
It feels like one of those significant moments where in the moment you're like, one day I'm going to remember this so fondly, and I'm going to like wish that I was back in that moment because it was so special and unique, and like what a unique thing that we get to experience.
This rogue, like, grassroots movement.
Standing out on the beach with 300 like pseudo strangers that like
where else in the world is this happening?
that's what I'm saying.
For anything,
Nowhere.
not just for the UFO phenomenon.
Yes, for
anything.
When are 300 people going and standing on the beach in a huddle at night?
Maybe like
Period.
the 1960s.
Exactly.
And that in
period.
itself is so special.
Exactly.
Just even
Yeah.
if it was for nothing.
But then to have the added thing of all of those hundreds of people are all looking up into the sky together and seeing these incredible light shows, it's like, wow. I had the feeling like Saturday night at the skywatch, I was like, one day, like many, many years from now, when I'm old, I'm going to look back at this and
this
be
is
like,
historic.
whoa.
Right. And to think that for the most part, those people on the beach are trying to live a better life, to be more Christ-like, and has found a brighter way through all of this, and then find camaraderie in that and become friends with each other. And now they've got friends that are all over the world because of this common bond. It's incredible.
The common theme that I've noticed, and this is not new, this is just being there and there's 350 people telling you their story, and you're trying to talk to everybody. It's either they've had experiences already.
Yeah.
They found what we do, and it's been like, for them, in their mind, it's like, oh, I'm not crazy. Learning this story helps me realize this is real, and I'm not crazy, and I shouldn't be ashamed of this, and it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like they've had death of a spouse, extreme traumatic circumstances, and reading the story gives them hope that, like, okay, my loved one is on the other side, or there is a God, or there is, we don't die forever kind of thing. It's like, it's either people are having experiences and they're validated by what we're doing, or they're experiencing great trauma and they're finding hope from what we're doing. But either way, it's like, and there's probably a few other circumstances in there too. Just people who are like, I'm into UFOs. Oh my God, but you guys are the real deal. Hell yeah, I want to hang out. That happens too.
Yeah.
But the majority of these people coming to these events are like deep seekers.
Yeah, for sure.
In need of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In one way or another, they're there to get some kind of answers or get something.
Yeah, have an experience. You know, it's amazing. Like, I do get the sense that this is historic. And, the day after the festival ends, they dropped another thing where they're like posting orb videos, and people are like, oh my God, the government whistleblowers got more footage. Oh my God, it's happening. It's like, bro, I challenge them to meet with hundreds of people and connect and actually see. Like, this is like such an amazing thing that's happening that is not very easy to replicate. The amount of stories from every individual person entangled into these events that's coming together, and the energy that's like forming is unbelievable. It's like you said, where else is this happening? It's not.
Yeah, it's true. That, and that's another one of my favorite things. I love to talk with people and hear their story. It's really, really cool. Some of them they'll lock you down for 20 minutes straight and not get, which is, it is what it is. But I like the people who come and are vulnerable and they want to share their story and get your opinion on it and have a little back and forth. And did you guys get to talk to Liam and Samantha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Absolutely.
I rode a skateboard.
Did you yeah, that's right.
Special mention.
Did you hear their stories?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was so cool. But I mean, there's tons of people that we got to hear. That's one of the coolest things about doing this is hearing all these different perspectives. Like, sure, you see 300 people that show up for this thing, and it's like, okay, they're all somewhat into ufology or the phenomenon or whatever. But then when you hear each one of them has a story, it's like, it makes it so real. It's so crazy to get all those different perspectives.
Right.
Puts into perspective how you're impacting people.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You reminded me, and I want to give two shout outs here. One to Jimmy, because he's the one who said this quote. So shout out Jimmy. And two, the Monroe Institute, because that's what we were talking about. But he said, I thought a lot about it, and why the Monroe Institute is so special is because you have these people in one place that are, one, being vulnerable, and then leading everything, every conversation, every interaction, leading with the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lead with the heart and the intentions are pure and everybody is interfacing that way, it's just a magical experience, because where else is that happening? And I think the only other place that's happening is really these gatherings, where everybody is kind of vulnerable on that same page. Like, you're not the weird UFO guy, you're the weird UFO group.
Yeah.
You know? And so to interface with everybody there and lead from the heart on both angles it creates a lot of magic, as we see, you know.
It's very true. If you hear the 3-part Monroe series that we did when I had just got back, that was something about Monroe that shocked me, was when you go, well, at least when I went there, it was the first time that I was in a setting of strangers that some of them I had met, but most of them I had never met. I was like, oh my God, these are like my people. Like, I feel like I'm on the same wavelength with people, and I'm not crazy and alien to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I completely agree. And I would say that, like, yeah, it's a similar energy. Like, these groups of people coming together, having their traumas or their experiences, which is traumatic in and of itself, right? Yeah. Just to see something in the sky and you're like, oh my God, what is it? You spend your whole life wondering with no answers.
Yeah. Having your reality challenged.
Yeah. And then to find out that there's these dorks in North Carolina that, you know, do a podcast and have had experiences and wrote a book about it and all this stuff. And it's just like, I can imagine, I don't have to imagine. They've told us, you know, like how healing that is for people. And it definitely, I would say this weekend was the best one yet for me. And it proved without a shadow of a doubt that, like, this is important work, and it is, in the sense, historic, because it is the first of its kind. And it's just stuff that we have to keep doing. It's meaningful to a lot of people.
Yeah, it really is. And there's some touching moments that are had at these things. Did you guys talk to Ernie?
Yes.
Such a sweet guy, and like, wow, that one was extremely humbling.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, just when somebody tells you their struggles and tells you that you helped them through it, watching the show that you make with your friends in your friend's spare bedroom, it's like the thing that you do, and this dude that you've never met before is like crying in front of you and telling you how much that you have helped. It's like, oh my God, it's so humbling, and it makes me so emotional. But it like is, you know, I'm so grateful that we get to do this silly thing that we do.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful.
When you're talking to people and they're crying and they're like, you've changed my life. I'm like some people would walk up. Like, there was this one gentleman at the Sunday night skywatch. I hadn't seen him all weekend. Maybe he was at the booth. I didn't see him. He walks up to me at the skywatch, and he looked me in the eyes and realized it was me. And I was like, hey, how are you doing? And he just immediately started crying, and he walked away. Like, he couldn't look at me in the eyes.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, it's okay. It's all right, man. And then, 10, 20 minutes go by. He comes back up to me again, and he starts, like, putting himself together. He's like, do you like fishing lures? I make fishing lures. I'd love to give you some. And we're, like, having a pretty normal conversation. And then he just starts crying again. And I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, dude, it's okay. It's all right. Like, I get it. Just cry. Like, I didn't even ask him what he'd been through. Don't have to.
Yeah.
People are going through things that we can't possibly fathom, and that, when they come face to face with some sort of facilitation with seeing, the divine or the beings or whatever you want to call it, it's very healing. This weekend was the biggest reminder of that for me. Like, oh my God, we have to keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. And we got to see some of our favorite people, like, see them again. People that have, oh my God. And like, shout out Cameron Mizell. We just did his episode. It was crazy. That episode came out, and
Hakeem.
Yeah. They were literally like back to, well, his episode will come out after, I guess, but yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah. Cause we're pushing this one forward.
Yeah. It's just, it's cool to it's like it brings the thing to life. Like, the guy who's on the show that week is there in person. Like,
yeah. And a lot of others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's pretty amazing, because if you think about it, a lot of people that we've had on the show were there.
Yeah.
My cousin Warren, obviously my dad, my sister,
Jeremy.
My brother-in-law Jack, Jeremy, Hakeem,
Casey,
Cameron, Casey, Paul Sr.
Yeah, Paul.
Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle.
On the episode Skywatching with the Ohmies.
Yeah.
Ryan and Kyle. And I guarantee if we think about it, there's probably another one.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. But that's pretty crazy, too. Like,
Well,
you know,
there's one next week.
Hakeem.
Nope.
Oh.
We're recording next week.
Right. Molly.
Oh, right. Yeah. Molly.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Why not?
Yeah.
Molly Chopin, amazing. Special mention to Molly Chopin. She is I hope I'm saying that right. Chopin.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like an amazing artist, and she'll be coming out next week to do the show. And you know, it's like I get the sense that the more we do this, the cast of people on the show at these events is gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Who's doing this?
Yeah. It's really cool.
It's wild.
I mean, Cam did call us the Avengers. When we do this kind of thing, it kind of, it feels.
Which one am I?
Let's think.
I don't know.
Hang on.
The Avengers.
Let's take a second.
Okay. Are we just talking like the original four, like Iron Man, the Hulk, Captain America?
No. We can
Thor?
go.
That's what I thought we were talking.
No, we can go extended because look at how big our Avengers is now.
True.
We can go extended cast with him.
Who do you resonate with?
I don't know who's the Avengers.
You don't know Iron Man, the Hulk?
I mean, I know them. I didn't know that they were Avengers.
Yeah, dude. What the Earth's mightiest heroes?
Yeah.
You ever
I
heard
just
of
found
them?
out who the Fantastic Four were.
Honestly, okay, here's the truth. The truth is that
That's why I'm asking. I'm not.
It's tough because you know what character he definitely is that's not an Avenger.
Batman.
Which is?
It's a Marvel character.
Batman.
Come on, good, bro.
There's so many.
No, dude.
Batman.
You're not Batman. He's not a Marvel character.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, he's DC.
He's DC.
Shit.
He's with Superman.
Oh, didn't know.
What Marvel character is Alex?
Bro, he's Ghost Rider. You kidding me?
Oh, we've even talked about that. Yeah, he's definitely Ghost Rider.
He's Ghost Rider
Yeah.
1,000%.
Dude, that's a superhero?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was just its own thing.
No, he's a Marvel character.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
He's cool, too. He's cool as hell.
If you looked into him, he would be like your whole personality.
He's very cool.
Bro,
Alright.
Ghost Rider's the shit.
He made a pact with the devil, right? Or like Mephisto or whatever.
Yeah, Mephisto.
And he like sold his
He's like
soul
the
for
devil.
power, but he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy. But he like turns into this kind of like avenging demonic spirit, but he uses that power to like fight evil.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Huh.
And
But he rides a motorcycle.
I know that much.
Yeah.
And it bursts into flames. It's like a skeleton motorcycle. It's magical. Very cool.
Sick as fuck.
Yeah.
Dope.
I love Ghost Rider.
That would definitely be him. But if we had to go
And
like,
he's off the table. We're doing Avengers.
okay,
I would say probably he's kind of like the Hulk, man. Like realistically.
I could see it.
But
Yeah.
the green part, not Bruce
Not
Banner.
the Bruce Banner.
Just the Hulk. Just the Hulk, yeah.
Not Bruce Banner at all.
Yeah, just the green
I
one.
would honestly, no tea, no shade. He's Captain America, bro.
Yeah.
He's
I
Captain
could see that
America,
too.
bro.
Yeah,
He's definitely Captain America.
for sure.
I think
I
you give
can be
Bruce
down
Banner
with that.
vibes.
Me?
Yeah.
Damn, I was thinking Thor.
Thor vibes?
Yeah. Why not?
You definitely give Bruce Banner vibes.
I mean, that's sick.
And the Hulk.
I've never thought about that. I'll take it.
You do.
But yeah, I love the Hulk.
The Hulk's the
He's incredible.
He's the shit. Literally.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Alex. Yeah, dude, he's Captain America for sure. You kidding me?
Yeah, for sure.
He's
I
Mr. Valiant.
I would say you're Iron Man. Not like the classic arrogant part. I don't mean that, but all the other great parts about him, like the gadgets and the tech and that kind of thing. Like,
I'll take it.
yeah, Iron Man for sure.
I love Iron Man.
Sweet.
Iron Man's cool as hell.
Sweet.
Yeah, so you're Captain America, dude.
That's dope.
But you're way more like Ghost Rider, and you need to look into Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider has this thing where it's called the penance stare, and he can lock eyes with somebody and force all of the torment that they've ever done to other people back on them in one moment.
Kind of like
Ugh.
karmic retribution, like judgment.
Yeah, all the pain that they've ever caused will be instantaneously like reflected back on them. That's why like there's this massive like villain called Galactus that like he eats planets and nobody knows how to beat him. Ghost Rider beat him because he just looked him in the eyes and like all of the
So speaking of that,
yeah.
I always, when we do these events, seem to attract a satelliter. Like that's just a satellite.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I wanted to talk about that. I was
Nice
going to bring that
satellite,
up.
bro.
And so and I have a very interesting way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
And so with this Azalea Fest, we're actually packing up on Sunday night, like packing up, and we kind of did a hot extraction like on Sunday.
Oh yeah, it was out of nowhere.
In an instant, I was so proud of the team. Like it was just, we hit a lull and we're like, all right, get him out.
I turned around and half the shit was packed up. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, thank God we had Warren.
Yeah.
And Emil and Alex was helping with the packing and
I straight pulled the truck right up on the sidewalk.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm packing up and this guy comes up to me and says, yo, where are you skywatching? I'm like, cause so I told him, I'm like, all right, just got to go off a gut feeling here. And, just told him, and we're out and about on the beach Sunday night. Everything's, going well, happening. I'm making my rounds and, I'm talking to Corey outside of the group, and this gentleman stands near us and then starts asking questions. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are you the guy that asked me where to go? And he's like, oh yeah. Yes. We got to talking and why he got there and stuff and how. And here comes an orb. And I'm like, yeah, check it out. You see it? And he's like, yeah. He goes, is that not just a satellite? I'm like, well, I mean, you can pull out a satellite tracker on your phone, but after many times of doing that, I'm just kind of over it. Like I don't waste my time anymore. And I was like, it's also kind of strange how I only see satellites with Chris Bledsoe and the guys.
Right.
Like, right.
Not to mention like 70 plus in one night.
Yeah,
Who sees 70 satellites in a night?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
What my whole thing is, I'm very passive, right? I'm not here to argue with you.
Well, you flip the script. It's like kind of makes people feel a little dumb.
I slowly do this, right? And so then we're looking, and here comes another one. Well, this other one brightens up, dims down, flashes a couple times, and then just disappears. And I'm like, and then he goes, well, that ain't a satellite. I'm like, no, it sure ain't a satellite, sir. Yeah. And then they happen to like put these shows on while we're having this satellite conversation. And I don't get offended because I understand where they're coming from. I understand a skeptical mind. I can understand how it looks, especially on these videos, because you have a stationary, like, you cannot tell in a black sky how they're moving. Like, in a video of an orb against a black sky. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's nothing to go off of. In real life, you can see that they move in different ways and flash in different ways. And I will be the first one to count the cadence of a flash. And I'll sit there and keep a rhythm with it. And if it keeps a steady rhythm, then I'm kind of dismissive.
Yeah.
But if it'll flash irregular, like there's nothing that's really doing that we know of in our atmosphere,
right.
But I seem to always attract these people, and then we have a wonderful conversation, and they change their mind, and then join the group a happier person. It's really, really fun.
So I'm very fortunate that I now pay for a satellite tracking service, because when I went out in December to Bradenton, Florida to do the Limitless podcast with Matt Bell, I got a satellite tracking app just to show him and his producer Ryan on the spot, tracking satellites with him. I don't use this all the time. I didn't get it for me. I get it to show other people. And I was like, you know what? I should hold on to this service and keep it. This will be handy. Saturday night, or it was Sunday night. I can't recall, but it doesn't matter. I think it was Saturday. I probably had 15 people come up to me and be like, how do you know it's not just a satellite? And after the 10th, it's like, oh my God. You get so just sick of
just repeating yourself.
Repeating such basic information that we've already covered.
Yeah,
before,
I mean, easiest thing to say, and that is just, I have a satellite tracker.
I did. So I was like, well, I mean, satellites are public. They're like, how do you know it's not a satellite? So I'm like, well, I mean, first of all, satellites are public information. You can look it up. Anybody can look it up. And they're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not just going to have random shit flying around our atmosphere and not track it.
Yeah, and it's like...
Also, the only... Not to cut you off, but the only satellite thing that I've ever seen in my life was when the International Space Station passed over my house, and that was like such a big deal. Like it was in the news. Like, look for it at this time, and I'm like, there's no way that you're seeing, 200 of these in one night.
Right.
Like, and all have different features and characteristics, and then behave in their own unique way. It's just...
It's common sense at this point.
But you don't... it's hard to convey. I will, give some grace here and say that it is hard to convey some of these through a screen.
Oh, for sure.
Some of them not. Some of them are spectacular. But
it doesn't translate with
Right.
the screen because like you said, there's no frame of reference. Like you can't see the way it's bobbing and weaving if the phone is also bobbing and weaving.
you can see the irregular flashes. But
Yes.
after so many videos, you have to kind of be like, all right, there's something going on.
Yeah.
You can't dismiss every 1,000 piece of evidence that you have and have put out there.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about.
Some people's minds are just not capable of being open. Like they're not capable of, let's just say, like entertaining or fathoming that which is beyond what they know. know, and it's like almost painful for some people, I think, to shatter their beliefs. Maybe it's ego. Maybe it's just, I don't know, fear. But I got so tired of being asked. By like the 10th time for sure, I was like, oh, here we go again. And someone would come around. They'd be like, how do you know it's not a satellite? Oh, it's like, I understand where people are coming from, and they're not even necessarily being rude, but it's exhausting having to come down to this level to like explain the same thing over and over and over. And I would whip out my satellite tracker and I would show them, and I would show the other side of the earth. There's satellites. Oh, look, there's all these satellites. And then I would show up in our sky, no satellites. Saturday night, we saw 77 orbs. The whole night, people coming up to me, showing, how do you know they're not satellites? Out of 350 people, maybe 15 or so asked, right? So it was like 15 different times I did this. And I whip out the tracker. There was one time all night in the 3 or so hours that we were out there that there was even a single satellite above us in the sky. It was not visible to the naked eye. I was tracking it. It was not visible. And it was absolutely not present in and around any of the orb sightings by at least like 10 to 15 minutes. So
one.
I say that to say it's honestly amazing that I got the tracker app, because, dude, there's comments on Twitter like, you need to be tasking people with tracking satellites. It's me.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm tracking them.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I track them.
I have the app.
Am I going to go out of my way to like, get super serious about this and publish this for people
Start
online
posting
who are skeptical? No, because I don't give a shit whether you believe it or not.
Exactly.
You can come out here with me and 350 other people, and we can experience this in person.
Yeah.
And you also, not to mention that you do also have the ability to do this on your own in your own backyard.
Yeah, get the
But
app for yourself.
With the the current mindset of dogging someone, regardless of who it is, on the internet, I would put you at a very small likelihood of seeing this phenomenon by yourself, because
You're a miserable, nasty
the type
person.
of person that dogs random people on the internet is not.
It's probably not spiritually in
That's
the
what I
place
mean. I'm not trying to be rude to people.
No, but it's the truth. If you have that much kind of like, I wouldn't go as far as
aggression,
to say, aggression.
hateful
If you have that much aggression, you're probably not in a good place spiritually.
The interesting thing about this is it's my opinion that these people could see this phenomenon if they're in a group of people who regularly see the phenomenon.
I've seen it,
but
yeah.
on your own, I don't think that you're like.
I've seen this happen.
To put this into perspective, basically, you're crying out to God to show you something for your own benefit. Do you think that God is going to be like, okay, well, you dog this person online, and then you kick this person on your way to work, and then so I'm just going to show up for you on your time.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't even think it's about the little shit that they're doing to other people. I think whatever intelligences up there that are like flipping the switch and being like, you're ready. I don't think that they're making it a habit of appearing to people that are in this for egotistical purposes. Because if, just imagine, somebody out there who's like crazy, aggressive and hateful and just like not spiritual, and they're like, oh well I'll try, and then they get the you could say like the reward or the the amazing experience of seeing and witnessing this. I mean, what path would that put them on?
Yeah.
I am a god.
Exactly.
They're already that kind of
They go to
person.
their head.
They're already an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't show myself to them either.
Right.
If I was some benevolent being, I'd be like, you got some work to do, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go hang out with this crowd of 350 people who are crying about the emotional release and the trauma that they're seeking healing. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's who I'd be vibing with if I was these beings. And, you know, that's how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. There's always those skeptics or the aggressive people or the whatever. It was funny. Me and Warren were sitting under the tent. This was Sunday, like earlier in the morning. And this guy walks by the tent, and he walks behind me and Warren where we're sitting. And he goes, "Hey, you guys want to see a video of an orb that I got last night?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure." And we could tell, like, by the way he was talking, he's
being
like
weird.
being a dick,
Yeah.
kind of. At first, I didn't think he's being a dick at first. At first, I was like, he's being kind of weird. And I could tell Warren was thinking that too. But we were like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And he like pulls out and he pulls up a picture and it's the moon, and he just like zooms in and he's like, "Yeah, check it out." And it was obviously the moon. It was like a half moon that night. And like, I think he was just like trolling us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows us this and he's like, "Yeah, look," and like zooming in and like, and me and Warren are like not saying anything. Like, we're not giving him what he wants at all. Like, "Yeah, check this out. Isn't that cool? Yeah, isn't that a cool orb?" And me and Warren were just like, "Yeah, man, cool." And he like stormed off. He like stormed off all mad.
Warren
Like-
he said, like, it's hard to tell if they're moving or not, man.
Yeah,
Something
he
like
did
that.
say something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he had a video of it too, and it was just
Of
him
the moon.
recording the moon. Yeah, it was like, we were just like, "Okay, man."
I don't know if you've
Cool.
consciously thought about this, but after Warren told me that story on Sunday, like, just think about it, man. And you probably have, but we haven't talked about this yet. How hilarious. So there's a few possibilities here. Either A, on Saturday, he walked by our booth. He's like, "What's this about?" Looked it up, went home that night, took the picture of his moon just to come back on Sunday and troll.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot of dedication.
yeah,
That's
or
a lot.
I mean, that's really the only possibility that makes sense, you know. But like, we were in his head so
I
bad
know.
that he spent hours of his time planning this,
It's crazy.
going out into his yard, taking a picture of the moon, actually going out of his way to go downtown to the festival and walk up to us on Sunday and show that for what?
It's interesting.
To
But obviously, like, all of the good interactions greatly outweighed any of that.
oh yeah,
stuff.
dude, it's like it's 300 to 1, literally.
oh,
A funny
You
thing
know?
that happened that's also interesting to me and that's happened at prior events is people of different religious orders will like sneak up and like put their literature on the table and then like run off like they're fighting the power
Oh,
or
really?
something. And I'm like looking at their stuff and I'm like, I agree. Like, this is the same.
Yeah, this is great.
You know, like, yeah, hallelujah, right?
Thank you.
Like, yeah, thank you. And they're like gone because they think we're gonna like.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's, you know,
They're thinking like, I'm gonna sneak them a brochure and
Right.
minister
Yeah.
to their soul.
Right.
It's,
And
oh,
I'm like-
thank you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
or just like I read your brochure, read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's actually common ground here, my friend.
A lot more than most people even know, but they won't know that because they won't take the first step. There's too much like of a boundary up, you know. But it's like, this is like mostly the same stuff that
Yeah.
we're like we're mostly on the same
pretty
team.
interchangeable.
But then I take it off
Yeah.
the booth because you didn't pay for this booth.
That's the
So we're gonna put our stuff on the table, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna read your brochure and then put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that pretty much cover. I mean, any other like important mentions before we close it out?
Dude, it was just magical as always. It's such an honor and a privilege to be able to do this and do these events. Like, thank you to every single person that came out.
Yes.
You guys are seriously incredible. You're like the reason that we can continue doing this. You're all so special and amazing,
Yeah.
and it is an honor to get to meet you guys.
I have two more special mentions. Obviously Jennifer and then Brent. We already talked about Jennifer, but I just wanted to say, like, she is so thoughtful. She has been to all three of these things now. And every time she comes around, and this is not requested of her. we're not asking for this.
Oh yeah, no, she does all this.
She makes herself so helpful.
Dang, we didn't have the jar. We were gonna.
It's right here.
Oh, here it is, the gratitude jar.
And she just shows up and she's like, I got name tags for everybody. I also brought a gratitude jar. And then she does so much other stuff, like help with packing stuff.
You see this,
and,
Alex?
you know, like just such a thoughtful, amazing human being. And Brent as well, for coming with her and supporting her and just them, you know, being who they are. I just wanted to give a special mention to Jennifer, a very, very kind individual. The more that we're around the two of them, it definitely feels like they are somehow or another becoming a staple in this. Like, even though we're not overtly requesting her to help, although I might, for the next time, I might have to now because she's made herself a little too useful. But she comes around, and every time, increasingly, she makes this a little bit more of a smooth and positive experience, not only for the people there, but for us too.
Yeah.
You know, like doing things like this for us.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for that.
I know. She does something special. She does something every time to like make everyone's time there more special.
Yeah.
And that's so cool and unique. And Scott does the same thing.
That was my second mention.
Big shout out, Scott.
He brought more buttons.
New buttons.
Updated with new inside jokes.
A whole other Ohmy jar.
What?
Although this time I forgot to ask for it, but it's okay. He'll have to just bring it to the next one. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, an absolute legend. Scott, you're the GOAT. Jennifer, Brent, you guys are amazing. Everybody, every single person who came, dude. I mean, oh gosh, Vox created a new.
Oh, dude, we didn't even talk about that.
Created a new war.
It's not.
In our
That's not his
Discord.
name anymore.
Okay.
It's Corn Fritter Moses.
Did he change it?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Do we want to cover that really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this guy who was Vox.
We can't not talk about the war that's happening in our Discord right
Honestly,
now.
I want to cover my mouth in corn fritters.
Yeah, me too, man.
Bro, are we all Corn Fritter Mafia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gang.
Yeah, the BSS
Gang.
crew is Corn Fritter Mafia.
Gang, okay.
And the insurgents in the Discord, they can, they can choose to be with, the hot dog crew or whatever they call themselves.
Right. Yeah, whatever. They don't even have a
hot
cool
dog
name.
gang or,
They don't even have a cool
whatever.
name.
Really small time shit, but
Amateur hour.
yeah.
Really small
Really
time militia type shit.
No, but like this morning when I was like thinking about what we wanted to talk about, I actually did want to talk about the corn fritter thing, so I'm glad you brought that up. There was a guy who used to be Vox Vesper in our Discord. His name is Adam.
Adam, yeah.
He shows up, he
Shout
shakes
out.
his hand. He's like, I brought you some candy from Indonesia.
It was amazing.
I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then he brought you some and some other people some, and you walked up to me, you're like, bro, try this candy. And
I was eating the cashews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I took like a handful of it. I was like, oh my God.
It was so good.
And anyway, he comes back an hour or two later, and he has a literal kitchen pan.
Yeah.
Like the kind you put in the oven. And it was like, had a brown paper bag over it. And he pulled the pan out of the bag. He's like, my wife made these Indonesian corn fritters. And I'm like, let's go.
They were so good.
He's passing corn fritters out.
They were banging.
Everybody was loving them. They were a hit. And then that was Sunday, right? So then Sunday night he comes to the Skywatch. He has a whole other bigger pan of corn. He brought more corn fritters. And
What a
dude, it was
legend.
such a thing. At one point, my mom was sitting on Paul Squared's blanket. She was shouting, corn fritters, corn fritters. I want an order of corn fritters, please. And mom's like, somebody find the corn fritters. She was like, what's your name? And it was James.
Yeah.
And James is really cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And he was like, it's James. But she knew James. She couldn't see him in the dark.
Yeah,
James
of
has been
course.
to my parents' house, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, it's James. She's like, James, can you go get me the corn fritter guy? Which, by the way, my mom is at the Skywatch, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so funny. And long story short, at one point, like he's down to the bottom of the bag, the end of the pan here. He just I'll be like talking to somebody and I turn around and he's silent, not a word, just hand in my face. I'm like, all right. And I'll grab like 4 or 5 of them, and he would just like literally put it in your face. It's like, eat the corn fritters.
Dude.
And I was like, okay, man, you know, and it was the funniest thing. Like at one point there's a wall of people around Dad, like literally like a mosh pit. And he like, and just being so kind, right? Thinking maybe Chris needs some corn fritters. He happened to go up to my dad and offer him corn fritters, pushed through a crowd of people. And now the thing is, they were standing on a part in the beach where when the tide goes out, there's a dip in the sand.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it looks like a dune, but not really. It's just because the tide goes out and then the sand drops, maybe like 3 feet. Mm-hmm. And Dad was standing right at that drop. So Adam walked up that drop. So like where he was waist high to my dad. And he kind of like made his way through this crowd of women and he pushed through the crowd. Dad said he parted the sea of women. And Dad looks down at this and he's at hip level. And he's like, Chris, would you like some more corn fritters? And Dad's like, thank you, but not right now. And that very moment was the bright orb. That was like, everybody was like, woo! It was just so funny, dude. It was legendary. When we got back to the condo that night after the whole skywatch thing, Dad was crying laughing for 5 minutes. He couldn't even speak.
There's a video of him.
He was crying.
Talking about it and laughing.
He couldn't speak for 5 minutes at how funny it was. Not of course not laughing at him, but just like how amazing it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of
he's
course.
like, I just can't believe that, all this amazing stuff is happening, and then there's a guy feeding everyone corn fritters.
It's so
it was legendary.
Yeah,
dude,
Adam, you're a legend.
And Adam is a legend. He is now Corn Fritter Moses.
Corn Fritter Moses.
And he was so kind to share the recipe with my parents. My dad texted me today. He just sent a picture of the recipe.
That was real?
Yeah.
That's the real recipe?
Yes.
Oh.
He sent me a picture of the recipe, and then he just said, "Here it is, y'all, the recipe. Give me y'all's corn fritters."
Bro, the next gathering is going to have so many corn fritters.
Honestly, it is encouraged.
Official snack of Skywatch.
That's the official
it
snack
is.
of Skywatching.
Yeah, Team
now.
BSS is the corn fritter mafia. And
I don't want to see no hot dogs on the beach.
Yeah, I don't either. They would not be welcome. Corn fritters, welcome. Very wholesome. It was a hit. My dad loved it. And it was just like so funny. And now it's like the whole corn fritter mafia in the Discord. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of injected that meme in there. I had to. It was just too good.
Simply too good.
Yeah, dude. It was just like, I have to.
I don't know what the hot dogger's opinion is going to be. We'll have to tune in to Green Boys next time. And find out. But, I mean, there's a war brewing.
Yeah, but I think it's already decided. The victor, that is.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe a champion will arise on the corn fritter mafia side.
I think it's in the works. Yeah,
We'll see.
I've been preparing him for this, for this event.
We'll see.
I have chosen a champion for the corn fritter mafia.
You have?
Yes.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, this is huge news. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh wow, the opposition has found their savior.
Yeah, I have chosen a champion to face the hot dogger of the hot dog game.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you guys will just have to watch Green Boys.
Can't wait to rally behind him.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal Azalea Fest.
Yeah.
2025.
Excellent.
It was.
Amazing.
It was
Amazing.
perfect.
Everyone for making it special. Truly.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. We love you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. What up, Ohmies?
If you like the show and want more, check out patreon.com/Bledsoe Said So.
This will get you exclusive weekly bonus shows and access to our Discord community with hundreds of open-minded people just like you.
If you want to represent the show, go to bledsoesaidso.com for merch. We have t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more.
For all future updates, follow us on Instagram at Bledsoe Said So.
Same time next week.